Let's go back to the CSIR. That's where Sakina is, and she's joined by our Deputy Minister of Education, Buti Manamela. Looking forward to that conversation. Sakina, it's over to you.
Thank you so much, Leanne. And it is just such a buzz, such a hive of activity here at the 5th Science Forum at the CSIR International Convention Centre. And of course, part of the issue here is, of course, making science attractive to ordinary people so that we do have more people taking up not only careers, but coming up with innovations in this particular space. And we have been walking through the various exhibitions here. And as I promised you, and I think some of us are particularly interested in the anti-aging components that are on show here. But with me right now, I'm with the Deputy Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, Minister Buti Manamela, and also we have sitting there to his left our scientist Nomatlubi Nazo, and she of course has developed an anti-aging cream from fish scales. But as you can see, there's a host of products there on the counter, and we'll talk to that in just a moment. But first, Deputy Minister, I think the important bit, of course, is to get people interested in science, technology and innovation, but also making the space accessible to everybody. So how is the department going about doing that?
Well, I mean, obviously this is one of those platforms. One of the things that we've been able to do, I think, over the last 25 years actually, is to really encourage young people in townships, in the villages, in the rural areas to be interested in science, technology, engineering and mathematics. And I mean, there's always been this perceptions that these are difficult subjects, that one will fail if they try, but also the way in which our education was structured was in such a way that it was a buffer to enter into this kind of professions. So our role, working together with the different government departments, but using platforms such as the Science Forum, is to not only make the science a nerdy subject. You would imagine someone with spectacles walking into a laboratory and all of that, but to make it about the people and about resolving daily problems and challenges that people are confronted with. And that's really what this Science Forum is all about.
And that is this year's theme as well, conversations about science and technology for impact for broader society. And to that end, you of course you think about things like research for societal benefit. So how are we driving that as a country?
Yeah. Look, I mean, one of the mandates that we drive as a department, but broadly as government, is to ensure that when we speak about science, technology and innovation, it's about resolving people's daily challenges. And one section of the department, for instance, look at the socio-economic impact that science and technology need to be resolving. One section looks at the question of unemployment and poverty. Then the one section looks at entrepreneurship, for instance. And when we think about all of those things, it's not only about complex things about how to get people into the moon or into the galaxy, but it's also about what do people need to get food on the table. Part of the interventions include weather monitoring that the department is doing in order for farmers to get accurate information for their crops, or to fund local entrepreneurs like Nazo here, who are developing anti-skin aging anti-aging products, or how do we innovate around products such as moringa and all of that. So those are some of the things that we believe should be making an impact in our society, and we really are encouraging part of the conversations at this Science Forum to not only be about the abstract, but to also be about the simple things that will resolve people's daily struggles and challenges.
And one of those challenges, of course, would be the commercialization aspect of these innovations, because we're looking at products here in front of us that Nomatlubi has come up with, but she needs to commercialize.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure you've been around here, and so it's a combination of products that requires a platform for commercialization. It's products that are funded mostly by government. It's products that come from our students in universities. in our research councils, but also young people who probably haven't had an idea of what a university auditorium would be, but through their interaction with daily life see problems and try and resolve them. So we've got a variety of platforms, including this platform where it's either we look at the kind of products that they've developed, and then we see ways and means within which we can fund those products. And I would really want to encourage South Africans to come through and see the kind of products that have been developed by particularly young people, because that's where we believe the future is going into, and the kind of impact that they're making, the kind of resources that government has put into, and we believe that the only way in which we can turn around the challenge of unemployment, economic growth and all of that is if we encourage some of these young people and the products that they've developed to get into the market, to make them accessible to South Africans. That's the only way in which we can grow and make an impact as a country.
Enter Nomahlubi. If we could just step closer here, Minister, to take a closer look at some of the products here. Of course, there's a cream at the end. These are soaps, pure glycerine soap, and all the black stuff, activated charcoal, you say, Nomahlubi?
Yes, it's activated charcoal from waste trees from the Nelson Mandela Bay.
So how did you get into this space? What attracted you, and how did you come to develop these products that we see here?
I did maths and science at school. I went to a girls' school where they made science really cool. Like the deputy minister was saying, like, science is not for nerdy people, science is for everyday use. So I studied then polymer science at NMU, then I did a BTech at TUT, then at UCT I did a cosmetic formulation science course. So then I mixed polymers with formulation science, so I could be able to use polymers. But like you were mentioning, the cream here, this is fish scales that we've converted to collagen. Normally collagen is synonymous with anti-aging use, but what we are currently making it for is for wound care for people with scars, burns, slow healing wounds. And the second biopolymer that we're making is hyaluronic acid from from the eggshell membrane, that white stuff in between the hard part. Yes, so that's also a polymer that is associated with high-end anti-aging, but that's not our target market. Our target market is lower LSM, also people without medical aid, and so that, because in South Africa that's a high market of people that do not have access to costly skincare and also healthcare products.
Well, so this is where you can get some of this. I know that looks like coconut ice. It's not. It's actually soap. And of course, all of these products, as Nomahlubi says, is aimed at lower LSM markets. Fantastic products here that I certainly am going to try. But for now, we're sending you back to Leanne with the 8 o'clock news, and we'll return to the CSIR International Convention Center with more interviews with some of the exhibitors here.